Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. So, uh, first week of July, it's not the first full week because Monday the markets are closed for July 4th holiday. So the first week of the month will definitely start a little bit slower. Earnings season is close, but it's not quite here yet. And even though it's not super busy on the earnings front, there are some things I think that could be interesting, at least on the economic front, which is the jobs report on Friday. So that could be an interesting catalyst later in the week. Also, I would expect more unscheduled guidance. We saw some companies gave guidance this past week, and I think as more and more companies close their books on the quarter, we might start to see more guidance. So I think that's like a definite possibility. However, can't really plan for that because it's unscheduled, right? But I would not be surprised to see more guidance released this coming week. In terms of what's actually on the calendar, there's nobody scheduled to report Tuesday or Wednesday. The first earnings release scheduled next week is Thursday before the open, which is Helen of Troy. Um, they're pricing in about 13 and a half points, but those are monthly options, so they go an extra week beyond next Friday. I mean, there's literally only three companies on the calendar, so I mean, there might be some added attention on these three, even if I guess for me, like none are really super interesting. Yeah, Helen of Troy, it's a staple. It can have some bigger moves around earnings. I mean, I don't personally trade it very often, but over the last 2 years, I mean, there have been some quarters where it's seen large swings. So, maybe it's due for a move. Um, I don't have a great feel for it, so I'll probably just end up watching. I mean, that might be the theme with the three companies scheduled is not lay out money on options for the report and then see where it opens the next day and maybe trade it the day after. All right, Thursday after the bell, Levi's, so about $1.50 is what's priced in, but those are monthly options. Retail still kind of in a rough spot, and I guess we'll see what Levi's has to say. Last quarter was decent, but the stock didn't react well, and now it's hovering near its 52-week low, and the sector is still acting pretty weak. So I mean, I think it's going to be hard to see a major move higher, just based off what's going on in retail land. But at the same time, if the numbers are really disappointing, I mean, you can see that like it's hovering at 52 week low at recent support, and there still could be room to the downside if they disappoint. So, um, I mean, either be like a speculative bear idea, or again, it just might just like hold off and just look to see where it is the day after and focus on it then. And then lastly, Thursday after the close is WD-40. So about 17 points is what they're looking for. Those are monthly options as well. It's very inconsistent trading name most of the time, but it does actually tend to move around earnings a little bit more consistently, which is strange. Options can be very thinly traded though, and I mean the pricing's not cheap. I mean there have occasionally been some quarters, so you can see like the spikes on the chart, right? So here, here, here. So there have been some quarters, even last quarter too, where it's moved more than 17 points. But for a name that I don't trade very often, really don't even focus on it much. I mean, I think it's one of those where you kind of need to have some conviction with the direction. So, I mean, if that's a setup that you have conviction with, maybe something to look at. Because I mean, of the three names, it's definitely one of the ones that's been more of a consistent move around earnings lately. But I mean, the options can be thinly traded, the stock can be thinly traded. So, I mean, I'm really going to need to see the volume pick up in the option market. Otherwise, I just think it's going to be like a tougher setup. It might be an avoid. But I mean, again, there's only three names on the calendar next week, so there might be added attention on them because there's really not much else scheduled. So, um, they might see bigger moves and they might see more option activity because of that. But I mean, none of them on their own to me stand out as like great setups. So we'll see. So you know, that's it. Friday before the open, you got the jobs report. There are a couple A couple names due out with like comps next week too, but I mean earnings wise, only a few names, and it's more of a waiting game until the quarter begins. The earnings quarter begins. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a fantastic long holiday weekend. Enjoy the time with your family and friends. Safe travels, and I'm looking forward to July. So I'll speak to you when we all get back on Tuesday.